Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join us. I know this time of year makes it pretty difficult to spend time on presentations and things like this, so we'll keep it nice and quick and hopefully let you walk away with some good ideas for the new year. We're going to have another great webinar today with Morgan Holbein joining us from Assurity Life out of Lincoln, Nebraska. This is our second presentation out of the Term Sales Concept series we're doing. Now, I see some familiar names, so thank you to those who came back. And if you missed the first one, just give us a call, and I'll get you that recording. Before we jump in, as always, if you have any questions, please type them into the chat box on the right-hand side of your screen. We'll make sure they all get answered at the end of the presentation. And afterwards, again, give me a call to receive a copy of today's webinar, the last one, if you missed it, and answer any other questions you might have. Thanks again, and I'll hand it off to Morgan.
Cool. Thanks, Sean. Awesome. Well, like he said, we're going to be venturing into our next topic that goes along with our Assurity term product. So last week we talked about mortgage protection, and today we're going to talk about marketing to millennials. So very interesting topic, something that we get asked about a lot, how to market, how to sell to them. So lots of good information. We're going to pack it into a short and sweet webinar, but like Sean said, feel free to reach out to them and let them know what questions you have. So we'll get started here once I get this. Like Sean said, my name's Morgan. I work for Assurity. We're in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I work out of the home office. I'm your regional sales coordinator for Art Jetter. So a little bit about our agenda and what we're going to go over today. We'll run through the highlights of the term product real quick. I know we did this last week if you were on, but just want to make sure that you know all the details. And then we'll head into the sales idea, which is all about millennials. So we'll talk about the mindset of millennials and then how to sell to them. And then we'll go over a sales idea as well, and then talk a little bit about the writers as well. So real quick with those product highlights, you'll see the term periods, 10, 15, 20, and 30. And then the face amounts range from 25,000 all the way up to 10 million. And the accelerated underwriting amounts are there as well. So you'll see for 18 to 50, 500,000 and under qualifies for that accelerated underwriting, which will could get you an instant decision at the end of that e-application. So if they're in good health, it's a clean application, you could go straight to instant issue, which is awesome, saves time for everyone. So the underwriting classes are there as well, and it is annually renewable until the age of 95. So those are the quick details on it. Now we're going to head into the millennial mindset. So some interesting stats here. Only 52% of millennials have life insurance, yet 86% of them say that most people need it. So it's a huge market. There's a large number of millennials, but not very many currently have life insurance. And some of them probably don't even know that they do have it because it might be through work and it's just included in their benefits. So, and just naturally, this generation is showing to just kind of move a little slower at things. So things are happening later than, say, with like the baby boomers. So moving at a slower rate with things like getting married, having children, starting their careers. So they are, since they are moving at a slower rate with some of those big lifetime events, they aren't really thinking about life insurance. But 8 out of 10 millennials that do want life insurance say they want a life insurance policy that's easy to understand. So we'll kind of go into more of that, and you'll really find that millennials, the big words for them are things like easy, quick, accessible, and affordable. So those are some themes you'll see as we're going through here. So it's important to kind of understand their mindset going into the sell, just because they do think a little differently than other generations. They're a busy group, and they want something that's quick and easy, and that's what we provide with our term product. So some more stats for you here. What is stopping millennials? Like we said, on the prior slide, only 52% do have life insurance. So 80% say they've got other financial priorities right now, and those might include living expenses, other bills like internet, cable, cell phone, going out to eat, and saving for vacation. So priorities are a little different for this generation. They're not so much thinking about the future. They're just thinking about what now, what expenses do I have right now, and thinking that their expenses or their money is better spent elsewhere. So how to sell it? Like I said, we're going to see a theme here. They want it to be easy. They want it quick and convenient, which we can provide with our accelerated underwriting. So like we saw with those product highlights, if you keep it under that $500,000 mark, you can fly through that e-app pretty quick and even get an instant decision or go straight to issue at the end of that e-app. So it cuts out a lot of time and waiting, and also medical exams as well for those millennials. So like I mentioned, avoiding medical exams, a lot of them don't want to take the time to go and get it done. They want it, they want it done online, they want it done quick, and they want it affordable. So it's another frequently cited reason why they aren't buying life insurance. Millennials are probably the busiest generation, and time is very precious to them. So taking the time out to do an exam is not exactly on their priority list. Another thing that we talked about being a theme here would be affordability. So 6 out of 10 overestimate how much it's going to cost, and they typically overestimate it by about 3 times the actual amount. So they think life insurance and they think, oh, it's too expensive. I can't fit it into my budget, because they're thinking about all the other things that they need to buy, or the vacations they want to go on, or just things that they're saving up for, and they just assume they can't afford it when they really don't know how affordable it really is, especially with a term policy. And then another thing too is life insurance can scare them just because they do look at it oftentimes more as an investment rather than a safety net. So they think of it as something they're paying into, but they're never going to get a quote unquote return on their investment, rather than something to protect what they have and the family, spouses, anything else they leave behind. And so we'll discover ways to kind of combat that, especially with ROP rider, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. So just a sales idea I want to run through here with a millennial. We have Amanda. She's 27. She's married to her college sweetheart, Lucas. She's a college instructor. She earns $47,000 a year, and her husband's working and attending grad school. They depend on their dual income for their recent home purchase, and they also have student loans as well. So some questions you might want to ask Amanda and Lucas in this situation, besides their mortgage, they just recently bought a home, what other loans, debts, and expenses do they have every month? So we mentioned student loans, and they might have some small credit card debt. Another question, how much of a financial cushion do you have in place? So right now they don't have a ton of savings, just because they did purchase a house and they do have student loans, and Lucas is in grad school, so not a ton of savings there in case something would happen. And then, do you have life insurance coverage through work? So this is an important question to ask too. So Amanda has some group life insurance coverage that's equal to her salary, so probably not enough to cover all their student loans and their mortgage. So the opportunity here, Amanda, she's busy just like everyone else. Every other millennial is busy, doesn't want to deal with a long application and approval process. So with the Assurity Term Life and the accelerated underwriting, she qualifies for instant approval, so she doesn't have to do an exam or any tests, and she gets her policy within just a few days. So just a look at the numbers here. So this is a good idea of what those rates kind of look like. So her objection, just like going back to my stat along with affordability, 6 out of 10 overestimate how much life insurance really costs. That was Amanda's objection as well. We can't afford it right now. They have student loans, her husband's in college, and they just bought a house. So it can seem like an overwhelming thing to add another thing another expense on top of it. But we're looking at about $1,675 a month for $250,000 in a 30-year term life policy. So that'll cover that mortgage for the house they just bought, student loans, and leave them in good standing if she were to pass. If she wants to add that return of premium, which we'll go into a little more detail about here in a second, she's looking at about $21.10 a month, again, for $250,000 in that 30-year term life with ROP. So the rates do not look bad, way more affordable than Amanda thought. So, and she qualified for the accelerated underwriting. So it was quick, it was easy, painless, and very affordable. So she got everything she wanted. So we're going to look at those living benefit riders, which are just an added bonus to term life. You know, like we've been saying, I said there would be kind of a theme with some theme words here. Easy, accessibility, they want everything all in one package just to make their lives easier. So we can provide that with those living benefit riders. So one we talked about is that return of premium benefit. It can pay back up to 100% of premiums paid. And we'll pay on a schedule, so you'll receive at least some back if you let the policy lapse, cancel, or if you make it to the end of that term period. And we'll talk about the critical illness benefit rider and then monthly disability as well. So that ROP rider or endowment benefit rider, again, it provides a return of premium to the owner due to lapse, cancellation, or if they reach the end of that term period. If they let it lapse or they terminate it before that term period is over, a percentage will be paid. So when you run an illustration or you get that policy issued, you'll see that a schedule is provided, and you'll see at what year they'll start receiving a percentage back if they don't make it to the end of their term. It is available for only the 20 and 30 years, and we like to use this a lot for, and we see it used a lot actually in the younger markets with the younger people. It is a great selling point just because a lot of people, like we mentioned earlier, are hesitant to spend money on life insurance because they look at it as an investment more than a safety net, like we mentioned. But sitting down with them, showing them the return of premium schedule can actually put them in a better state of mind, put them at ease, letting them know that if they would decide to let it lapse or cancel, decide it's not for them or they can't afford it anymore, they will receive at least something back. So it gives them a little peace of mind, letting them know that they'll have that safety net, whether they decide to keep the policy or if something were to happen. And it's very affordable for the younger ages as well. So keep that in mind. That's where we're seeing this rider typically added. Critical illness rider works very similarly to our standalone product, just has a few less covered illnesses. So real quick, the way it works, the benefit amounts, we go up to 100,000, starts at 20. We can cover to age 65. The termination age is 75. And what it does is it pays a lump sum benefit upon a first ever diagnosis of one of the covered illnesses in the chart on the left. And we do a 3-category approach. So you'll see we have 3 categories there: heart and stroke, other illnesses, and then a cancer one. So we'll pay once in each category before this rider closes. And this is a separate pool of money from the death benefit for the term product. So keep that in mind. These are 2 separate pools of money, but they're all on one policy. So it does save a policy fee. So if they've been thinking about that critical illness policy coverage, this would be a great rider to add on and just keep it all lumped as one. So the monthly disability income rider, if they've been thinking about disability as well, but they're a little, overwhelmed by all the bells and whistles that go along with it, this would be a great rider to tack on to the term policy because there's just one occupation class, keeping it simple with the 90-day elimination period, 2-year benefit period. You go up to $3,000 a month for that benefit amount. And the issue age is 60 for those term periods listed, age 50 for the 30-year, and then the termination age is age 65. So keep that in mind. So again, you're saving a policy fee, you're keeping it simple, but you're giving them some sort of coverage in case there was a disability that occurred. And again, Same thing with the critical illness. That monthly benefit amount does not take from the death benefit of the term. It is a separate pool of money, and it's also a separate pool of money from the critical illness rider as well. So all separate pools of money, but you can keep it in the same policy, same policy fee. So just some add-ons there. You know, they like accessibility, they like ease, they like to keep it simple, have everything in one place. So it's kind of nice that you have all sorts of different coverage that you can lump into one plan. And that kind of covers what we're going to go over today. You'll see up here we have all the contact information for the life team at Jetter. So if you do have any questions, go ahead and shoot them an email, give them a call, and they can help you out here. Again, my name's Morgan, and today we went over the marketing for millennials. Next Tuesday at the same time, we're going to go over the term product again, but how to market it to women specifically. So make sure you sign up for that one. You should have received a link, or Sean will be sending it out here. So make sure and get your name up for that one next Tuesday, same time. So thank you for joining me. Sean, I'll let you wrap it up if you have anything else you want to add.
Yeah, sounds good. That covered it. I'm not seeing any questions, so if anybody does have any, now's the time to put them up there. The chat box is on the right-hand side of your screen. Now's the time. We've got the experts on the phone here. And while we're waiting, like Morgan said, the next presentation is going to be same time next Tuesday. Everyone should have that invite. I'll probably resend it to everybody this Friday if you don't have it. Still not seeing any questions, so feel free to give us a call to answer any of those, get a copy of this presentation, last week's, and thanks again, Morgan. I'll talk to everybody next week.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Have a good day, everyone.